Sarah Ferguson left out in cold after losing title and royal home. Hello royal watchers, and welcome back to Crown Chronicles, your #1 source for royal revelations, emotional truths, and behind-the-palace door stories that the world can't stop talking about. Crown. If you love the British royal family, their triumphs, heartbreaks, and secrets, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Because today's story, one of loss, resilience, and royal exile, will leave you completely captivated until the very end. The headline says it all: Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, left out in the cold after losing her royal title and home. Once one of the brightest stars of the monarchy, Fergie's royal journey has been a roller coaster of glamour, controversy, heartbreak, and reinvention. But now, decades after marrying into the most famous family in the world, reports suggest that the Duchess may once again find herself on the outside, alone, vulnerable, and facing an uncertain future. Let's take a look back to where it all began. Sarah Margaret Ferguson, or Fergie as the press affectionately dubbed her, burst into royal life like a whirlwind in the mid-1980s. Her marriage to Prince Andrew, Queen Elizabeth II's second son, was the event of the year in 1986. The pair's chemistry was undeniable. They laughed, they danced, and they seemed refreshingly normal in a world that often felt cold and distant. For a while, the couple were the royal family's modern face, youthful, relatable, and fun, but fairy tales, as we've learned time and again in royal history, don't always have happy endings. By the early 1990s, the fairy tale began to unravel. Andrew's naval career kept him away for long stretches, while Fergie struggled with the intense scrutiny of royal life and the relentless tabloid pressure. Photographers followed her everywhere. Every outfit, every gesture, every move was headline fodder. Then came the scandals, and the fall. When compromising photos of Sarah and another man were splashed across the front pages in 1992, the British press exploded. The monarchy was humiliated, and Fergie was swiftly frozen out. Her marriage to Andrew collapsed, and though the two remained close personally, their divorce in 1996 marked the end of her royal status. She was no longer Her Royal Highness, no longer an official member of the firm. Losing her title was one thing, but losing her home was another blow entirely. For years, Sarah continued to live at Royal Lodge, the sprawling Windsor residence she once shared with Prince Andrew, even after their divorce. It became her safe haven, a symbol of the strange, enduring bond between the two. Many wondered how she managed to stay there, technically a guest of her ex-husband, while continuing to reinvent herself as an author, charity ambassador, and businesswoman. But recently, whispers from royal insiders suggest that Sarah's long stay at Royal Lodge may finally be coming to an end. With King Charles III pushing for a more streamlined monarchy, focusing on working royals and reducing unnecessary royal expenses, the question of Fergie's place within the royal estate has become increasingly uncomfortable. Reports claim that Andrew himself is under pressure to downsize, possibly moving into Frogmore Cottage, the former home of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, a move that would likely leave Fergie out in the cold. It's a dramatic twist for a woman who once stood at the very heart of royal life. Friends say she's heartbroken at the prospect of leaving the home that's been her sanctuary for decades. But to the monarchy's new image-conscious leadership, sentimentality is no longer enough. King Charles has made it clear: the royal family must be financially responsible and tightly focused on those actively serving the crown. Unfortunately, Sarah Ferguson no longer fits that bill, and that brings us to the painful reality: the Duchess of York, who once waved from palace balconies, may now be forced to find her own footing outside the royal walls once again. For many, it's déjà vu. For others, it's poetic justice. After all, Fergie's past controversies, from financial scandals to her ill-fated association with Jeffrey Epstein, have often cast long shadows over the royal household. Yet, despite it all, Sarah Ferguson has always managed to bounce back. She's a survivor, fiery, funny, and fiercely independent. In the years since her divorce, she's built a second act for herself, as a best-selling author, motivational speaker, and philanthropist. Her daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, have both spoken openly about their mother's resilience, describing her as the emotional anchor of their family, but there's something profoundly sad about the thought of Fergie, a woman who once dined with queens and presidents, now facing the possibility of life outside royal gates once more. It's as though the cycle has come full circle, from privilege to exile. Back to a fragile foothold within the royal fold, and now, perhaps, back to solitude. Insiders say that Sarah remains on good terms with both her daughters and still shares a warm relationship with Prince Andrew, though she's been noticeably absent from key royal events in recent months. She did, however, attend the late Queen's funeral and King Charles's coronation reception, signs that, while she may not be part of the inner circle, she's not completely out of sight either. Still, the tension between tradition and transition in the royal family has never been clearer. King Charles's mission to modernize the monarchy means old arrangements are being revisited. Homes are being reassigned. Titles re-evaluated, and financial support reduced. For Sarah Ferguson, that likely means her royal safety net, the one that's quietly cushioned her for decades, is slipping away. What happens next? That's the million-dollar question. Will Fergie finally step into her own, independent future, one free from the royal name that has both elevated and haunted her? Or will she continue to orbit the Windsor world through her daughters, maintaining her connection by proxy? Either way, one thing is certain, Sarah Ferguson's story remains one of the most fascinating in modern royal history. A woman once adored by the public, later vilified, and now pitted, but never forgotten. Her ability to survive scandal after scandal, heartbreak after heartbreak, proves she's far stronger than the headlines ever gave her credit for. So, as reports swirl that Fergie may lose her longtime home and find herself once again outside the royal circle, one can't help but feel that this isn't the end of her story. If there's one thing we've learned from the Duchess of York, it's that she always finds a way back. Thank you for joining us here on Crown Chronicles. If you were captivated by this story, make sure to subscribe, tap the notification bell, and share this video with your fellow royal watchers. Because in the world of crowns, scandals, and survival, the truth is always more fascinating than fiction. Crown Chronicles, where royal secrets come to light.